Hello there, Kriksis here, and welcome everyone to this sketchbook tour. Today I will be sharing my newest sketchbook, which I recently finished. And I'm gonna talk you through about every single thing. So if you enjoy sketchbook tours, don't forget to leave a like so it can reach more people. Before we start, grab yourself a cup of tea or hot chocolate. Cheers. This is the sketchbook which I call personal projects. My favorite sketchbook size is usually A4, and I mostly use sketchbooks inside, so this is no exception. And this is by Rita Roo sticker, and there is also Deep Deep Light sticker. And then we go inside to the sketchbook itself. And this is Pitt's Supply Oro Blanco sketchbook. And I have to be honest with you, this is not my favorite sketchbook I have used. I noticed that I sketch a lot with pencils inside, and therefore I really like how moleskin paper behaves with pencil. But it was fun to try it, and I actually sketched out this in 2021. I did a review video here on YouTube, and I decided to sketch both this one and another mini thumbnail on different sketchbook. And I started, besides this little sketch, I started the sketchbook on 14th of April in 2023, and I finished it this year on 9th of January. So it took me 8 months in total to work on it. This little brand, I turned it into a sticker because I just really love how I sketched it. So I am selling them on my website and also on Etsy, and it's one of my favorite designs I have created. So I'm really happy that this is where it came from, just a sketch in a sketchbook. And I feel when you sketch something without intention to be a product, it's much easier to do it. It's less pressure. And I don't remember when I sketched this one, but maybe it was a little bit later. I just didn't want to leave it white, so I sketched a fox with a tree, and I think it was with traditional gouache. And here is me with a little reminder to dream big and be kind. Okay, and the next page is actually where I started planning for Birds in Color challenge, which was supposed to be only in May last year, and this was me playing with colors. And basically this art challenge idea was to have prompt every second day of May, and each prompt is a color, and with that color you find a bird that kind of suits the vibe. And this was me playing with the colors I want to include, because I really like more natural type of colors. And little sketches, little thumbnails here and there. I didn't know I will work on bird book at that moment, so this is really interesting to see the beginnings. And this was also me planning for the book. I think this was also a sketch for canvas artwork I did with acrylic. And this was watercolor illustration, and this was initially on April Patreon reward, but this idea just continued with me painting birds and girls together. This was another illustration, and I really like to do these small thumbnails. I think they're really great if you are not sure about composition and don't want to kind of jump straight into the final artwork, but you kind of do different options and then go with one of them. I also really like writing some ideas. I don't use only sketchbooks with pictures or final illustrations. I like to play in sketchbooks, and I thought this could be really interesting because this is not a lot of colors here. I was thinking that in this stage that maybe I will do a book, and this is like middle of May, I think. This is magpie illustration. This is kind of layout I was thinking about, but I'm flipping it opposite. So this spread with illustration is going to be on right side, and on the left side will be information. But yeah, it's really interesting to see just these early sketches, and some of the illustrations I have already did, and some are just bare sketches, which I actually really enjoy. I think it's great to look back at them. And more thumbnails, more little sketches. This is Robin illustration, this is Goldfinch illustration, little bit layout of the book, some playing with the colors, and this is actually traditional gouache, but I mixed it myself and it made such a beautiful granulation, and I love it. Like a lot of people say that gouache is not granulating, but I think you can get something out of it if you kind of mix pigments together, because there might be one which granulates and then others kind of work together with it. This is more playing with colors, a little bit bird sketches, and this was also me playing with brushes. This was at the stage where I got really into watercolors, and I thought it would be really nice if I could have like check what kind of brushes I already have and maybe try new ones for watercolors specifically. And I realized a lot of my 0.00 brushes or 0.1, they weren't as thin as I thought they are. And I'm actually now using much bigger brush, I think number 6 by Printed on Aqua Elite, and it makes thinner lines than 00 in these ones. So yeah, they're just exploration with brush strokes and what kind of marks I can make. This is a little bit of everything. I sketched foxes, I did some color palettes with forest illustrations at day, at night, some trees, another trees, I think that's woodpecker, and illustration for it, and this was, I think, for Jay illustration. And I did a lot of little clothings with watercolors. I think it's really interesting because it's a great way how to check the color palettes and do tiny little illustrations. And since then I have done several of these, and I really enjoyed making this one, I remember. This was from reference picture. It's I think it's the biggest oak tree in America or something like that. I think it was in North Carolina. I think that's the name. And I did this with Kuretake Gansai paints. And I realized even though this sketchbook is not the best with pencils, it goes really well with watercolors and gouache. And this is with and this is also with Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints and some Derwent Inktense pencils. And I really like the combination, and the granulation was just outstanding. I was really happy about it. And I did this in Odd Orange sketching session. It's basically like Zoom drawing sessions, and Odd Orange sometimes host it. And this was on 22nd of June. These are more from the same session. And I think these two were after the session because I really wanted to fill this page. And this was, I think, exclusive video on my Patreon where I sketched trees with time limits. And yeah, this is how this one turned out. I did foxes in my free time. Also kind of inspired by the Odd Orange session where I used Kuretake and Derwent Inktense pencil. And I realized I really like how the pencil goes on top when it's still wet and when it's dry. So there's like different mark making. And these were super quick. So you can see 5 minutes, 10, 2, 3, more trees. Also for the Patreon exclusive video. I think these were 10 minutes each. Okay, more bears. I really enjoyed making them. And this was, this is so funny. This is like, I don't know if you can see, but this was a I got approached by a publishing house from Australia, and they invited me to work on a picture book for a year, and they wanted to pay me, I think, 1,000 euros. So it was like super underpaying because you cannot survive with that amount for like long time, and especially if you need to illustrate it fully, it takes a long time. So I was like, I thought I will make like mini comic and kind of proclamation. I'm an artist and I don't want to be underpaid. So this was kind of my proclamation, but I realized I don't have time to finish it and do like something of it. But it's so funny to see how from this one thing it just sparked into something completely different. Then I sketched some book covers, tested some brush strokes. I think I got new brushes and I was just testing, and they looked a little bit like birds, so I sketched some birds as well. This was a picture I took in a charity shop. I just really liked how it looked, and I wanted to sketch it out. These are from flower book I have, so I was just testing the new brush I got, and also just using the Kriksis paints because they worked really well on this sketchbook. This is the bird book layout, because at this moment I was pretty sure I'm going to work on the bird book. And for those who don't know, I am self-publishing my own book in this year, in summer, most probably in June, and I will do Kickstarter. And I have been working for this project since last May, so it will be whole year of me working on it, and it's so interesting to see beginnings. And the main idea is to have color palettes for each spread, and each bird is in different color plumage, so it kind of goes like rainbow when you lay it out like this. And these are just some sketches regarding to that and some notes. I thought I will have 16 birds. I changed my mind. Now I have 28. And I think I got these colors from one of my Patreons. She gifted them to me, so I was just testing them out and testing some kind of color palette and some watercolors I have. And these are from Emma Carlisle Patreon. I joined her Patreon for a month, and this was a Zoom drawing session from her Patreon 3-year anniversary. She was sketching pigeons, so I just like, oh, pigeons, let's sketch pigeons. So I did some pigeon sketching, and I didn't do it live. I was just watching replay, so it was really interesting. So I sketched with also Kriksis paints and then some pencils on top. These are pretty quick. These were 10 minutes, and this was 15 and 5 and 7 and 5 and 16. Okay, so this is just me sketching different kind of shapes for trees. And I remember I used reference pictures from a journal or magazine, and I just sketched out different shapes, and that was it. I think I used watercolors, handmade watercolors. This looks like Terra Verde, and this looks like Parodia by Kriksis Paints. Then I did a few more Zoom sessions. I did them with Odd Orange again. These are super quick ones as well. And there were just lots of different shapes of chairs. So yeah, each chair was about 2 to 5 minutes, so not super long sketching. And I feel these are really great when you feel stuck and maybe you don't have enough time in the day to do full-on illustrations. So by having like timed limits, it greatly helps to at least do something. These are just bird sketches, planning thumbnails, some of which I did do and some I didn't. This was Koch, I think that's the name. It's one of the birds which are quite rare, and you can see them in Cornwall. These are for August Patreon artworks. another orange Zoom drawing session, and I was using only neo colors. And then I realized I don't like just neo colors, so I added a mechanical pencil, and it worked so much better. So this was just me playing with neo colors, and these were the colors I used. I never used them by themselves, so it was really great challenge. And I really enjoyed working on them because they feel so smooth. And usually I use neo colors just to layer something on top. This was me sketching for new business card. And I really wanted to make new business card because my old one had wrong information and not correct addresses. So I did one, and this was me sketching for it and kind of seeing what I like. I kind of went something similar like this, and you can see the stamp here. So I made the stamp instead of like printed out versions because then I can always reprint them. And if the information by any changes at some moment, I can just cut out the lower part, and I will have the little wren with my name Kriksis. And yeah, it was really fun to work for it, and I really enjoyed the result. And it was yet again inspired by this little wren sticker which I made earlier in that year. And this is like artist wren as well, but just with a paintbrush on his beak. And this was a sketch for another artwork for the bird book. And I actually sketched a lot of sketches here before, but now I have another sketchbook which is just for bird sketchbooking. I sketch their birds and compositions, but I had this sketchbook beforehand, and I feel when you work for longer projects, it's great to have everything in one place. So I wish I had this all in one place instead of several, but nevertheless, it's fine. This is also sketching for the bird book, and I thought I will have like art supply spread with all the art supplies I'm using. I created actually this illustration with the paint palette and all the colors, but since then I changed a lot of the colors in my main watercolor palette. So I don't know what to do with that illustration, but it was really fun to just sketch out art supplies. I realized I really like sketching art supplies as well, not only using them and chatting about them. And in this side, I again sketched some thumbnails because that's what I do. I like to sketch thumbnails. I also was playing with the graphite pencil which I had, which is watercolor graphite pencil. So I thought I could use that one a little bit more. And yeah, I sketched with it a few things, but I don't use it that often now. This is from my first Zoom Patreon drawing session, and it was on 19th of August. If you don't know, every single month on Patreon, I am hosting Zoom drawing sessions where we sketch together, and I provide reference pictures. There are either taken pictures by myself or used from reference pictures, and we have time limits, and it's really fun. I really enjoy hosting them. So if you want, you can join my Patreon and join me and sketch together. Also, there are some Patreons who are hosting them by themselves as well, and yeah, it's really fun. And I also have replays available from each Zoom drawing session. Anyways, this is me planning for the Cantober, which happened last October. This is me writing the prompts, which I want to include. This is the artwork I shared on Instagram. This is how I made it. I usually do prompt list traditionally, and I kind of taped it around with a tape and then painted with gouache. And this is just me fully playing with the prompts and what I could do, and just some regular sketching with pencil. And these were some thumbnails for Patreon art reward, but I didn't do any of these. I did Mushroom Girl at that month. This was another Zoom drawing session with Patreons, and I think this was in September. I think were also some mushrooms we did as well. This part of the video is being sponsored by Kriksis Art. It's myself. I don't have sponsors. I'm sponsoring myself. I'm sponsoring my own website. So if you want to get original artwork from me, well, now you can. I uploaded a lot of different artworks on my website, kriksis.art, and if you want, you can get original for yourself or your friends. I have a bunch of different options. I have watercolor originals in various sizes, so some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, and I even have super affordable, super small mini originals and some little bit bigger ones, but they are quite mini as well. I also have Calmtober artworks there, so if you ever wanted to get Calmtober artwork from me, I have from 2022 artworks. I also have Calmtober artworks from last year, and these are also really affordable ones, like this. Also, one extra thing, if you order original art till 24th of February this year, you will get a little surprise sticker from me and also printmaking print from my past artworks. I have 4 options available, so I will include one of them in the order, and I will also include one of the stickers in the order. And you don't need to do anything. If you buy original artwork, I will pack it together. So the deadline is 24th of February. If you buy original, you will literally help me to collect money for new filming camera. So thank you so much. And thank you for watching this ad of the sponsored video. And let's go back to the sketchbook tour. This was me when I was in Latvia. I was sketching my mom's dog. And my mom has 3 German Shepherds, and this is Bessie. And yeah, I was sketching while she was sleeping and napping. And I thought I might have like Christmas cards with this design, but it didn't go as well as I thought. This was me sharing the knowledge about perspective and also about the character design. I think this was exclusive video on Patreon. These are some empty spaces for thumbnails for the book, which I never filled. This was perspective video on Patreon. And on this side, this was me on the exhibition. I was participating together with Melanie Chadwick and Natasha Newton. So when I was there, I sketched out my side and also the view which I see from the table. And it was really nice memory, and it's great to see it here because it immediately reminds me of that time when we had the exhibition. This was me also sketching out for the Calmtober. I was sketching the ideas out. I remember I did some ideas while I was guarding the exhibition because sometimes there were not a lot of people, so I was just painting and drawing. And I also have empty spaces for the thumbnails, which I never filled. It's so funny to see it now. But I had like another sketchbook where I shared all of them at once. This was me planning for Calmtober zine because I already knew I will make a zine. And this is me playing with the compositions for the greetings cards, which I had in Christmas time last year, and also what I can do, like what else I will do, stickers and like zip bags and more shop update thumbnail stuff. And this was Calmtober planning. Again, for Calmtober, this was specifically while I was making Calmtober zine, and I wanted to have my own lettering, so I did it here. Then I scanned it and edited in computer, little thumbnail, some color pencil palettes. This is all in the book, and this was also in the book. These are the lettering which I did with hand, and these I thought will be end papers. I didn't like how they turned out. These are some of the sketches for the cover, which I thought I will do, but I also didn't particularly enjoy them. But yeah, I guess it's fine to see that not everything you do will be in the book. And I think these are end papers, if I remember correctly. And I'm not going to share a few pages because there is some countable things which I think will be more visible in the zine which I have. But yeah, it's up here and full with different things. And it's great to see the process which I did in the sketchbook. This is just me sketching birds. As you know, birds have become like really significant part of what I sketch in day-to-day life. So I have much more birds than I had in the past. More birds. This is from Bird Feeding Table. This is sketching for Patreon reward in November. This is just like a horse with a riding girl. Some plants. A little bit more planning. This was me doing commercial illustration for magazine. And this is me sketching for January Patreon reward. I think I shared this spread in drawing every single day for a week video. Then this is December Zoom drawing session with Patreons. This was with birds and a lot of different challenges. There were some challenges with negative space, some with continuous line. So it's all up here. Then I have some oil pastel sketches, and these are just some birds. And I really enjoyed working with oil pastels. In the sketchbook, I don't know what I would do with loose paper, but in the sketchbook is fine. I probably needed to add some paper in between so they don't smudge, but I think now it's too late, so oh well. And this is the last page. This is what I did in 2023, and this is what I want to do in 2024. So it's middle of February, and I'm touching every part of this. I'm doing calligraphy, doing bird book, doing daily art. Sketchbook zine is coming as well. Thinking about Canterbury, doing, well, everything which is here. This is like my focus. So it's great to see that I'm continuing with it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching the sketchbook with me. And here's the new adventures. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and write in the comments down below hot chocolate so I know you stayed till the very end, and see you super soon. Bye!